Welcome back to a new episode. So, today I wanted to just talk about my new relationship with anxiety. Being a person who has dealt with anxiety so many different times of my life, as I have found a new source of healing through it, I wanted to share like how I show up on social media when we get so much pressure to be on or produce content creation. The importance of also like acknowledging your needs and having a business that doesn't solely rely on social media. Today, I'm going to take you behind the scenes into other things that I do in my business, other things that can help you, and also navigating through anxiety, how I decide, although it may not be the best course of action or what the pros say or what it's the best for the podcast, why I decide to really post on real time versus like pre-recording every single episode and with my content as well. So with that, let's get to it. Social media is a tool, but somehow over the past few years, I really have noticed a change since I started my career. I was 30 years old, so I was a little bit older. And that September, I signed up for beauty school. And by November, I started utilizing social media because I saw the importance of it in a business. I also didn't want to just be behind a chair. I wanted to become an educator. I wanted to travel. I wanted to get paid for doing videos. There was other things that I didn't think I was going to be able to do, but I wanted to give it a try. 8 years later, I can tell you I've done that and many more things that I never imagined in a million years I'd be able to do. And I've done it all with managing my anxiety and also respecting it. So first, let's talk about it. I feel like my relationship with anxiety has really changed. That it's no longer a part of me, but it is something that I know can come and go through different aspects of life. Just like anything, when we're under stress, it can feel a little bit more harder than on days when I'm just relaxed and happy and, things are just pretty chill. Like that's usually a less anxious day, right? And I think we need to acknowledge that is the ebbs and flows of life. Like it's not always high, it's not always low. There's the in between. There's the beauty of just having the time to enjoy your day, just having the time to feel like you don't have to be on. And so I'm going to just share with you the evolution of how I got to where I'm at today and what it looks like to post on social media based on my new relationship with anxiety, how it's evolved. So first, I was really bad. I would spend around 16 hours a day on social media, and it did horrible things for my mental health. It made my anxiety really bad. I always had to be on. I always had to be quote unquote working, I would tell my kids. Because I felt like if I wasn't on, I was missing out on something. So that adrenaline and addiction to social media is real. You can go back a couple of episodes. I did an episode on social media and how it affects us and the addiction part of it. Different studies that have been done on how it affects people. So you can totally go back and listen to that episode. I'll try to put in the show notes what episode number it is. But I just think it's so important that we acknowledge that it is something that can affect us in a very deep way. So after, having done that and being on social media all the time, I had to start putting limits. So my kids started getting of the age where one of them had a cell phone and the other one wanted an iPad. And how was I going to be an example as a mom to my kid to tell them, hey, don't hang up. Don't be on the phone. Don't be on the iPad when I was doing that all the time. And so I really am so grateful for my children because they're the ones who really push me to go on this journey of like self-discovery and acknowledging that I didn't have to be on all the time. And this is how it started. So I discovered that there was this amazing little feature on our phone called the timer. And you can put times, stamps, and you can put like time. I apologize for the background noise. You can actually put like little timers on each of the apps. So on all of my social medias, they all have a time. So I don't have to be like worried about it. And at first I started with an hour. So I couldn't be more than an hour on each social media platform. And that was like telling me a minute at the time. Like it was just so horrible, so hard. And sometimes I would break the timer that would go off on my Instagram. But little by little, I started getting better at it. And it went down to half an hour, and I'm down to 15 minutes per app. And there are days I have a rule once a week I do not go on any social media for 24 hours. Can you imagine what your business and life would look like if you're currently not doing that when you're off social media? So there are different tools that we can utilize to get to that point, okay? And I want to share those tools with you because they have helped me out so much, myself being an anxious person. My mental health has really, number one, I had to go ask for help. So I worked for a therapist for 2.5 years. Life happened, a really horrible thing happened that really pushed me to my breaking point where I had to get support. And that's gonna happen. Although you're a person in business and like you're me, like I do live videos and all this stuff, like I am a human being and I had to take a break. So that meant I stopped, after I was talking to my therapist and everything, 2.5 years, I no longer am with her because I have grown and gotten the tools that I no longer need her. And I just want to acknowledge that because sometimes we cannot do things alone and there's nothing wrong with that. So number two is that I went ahead also and stopped letting social media and others define my worth. So before, I would get so upset if I got less than 100 likes and all this stuff, right? But then I started noticing something, that when I showed up all the time, my likes and my views were less. When I showed up less, my views and likes were more. I also started noticing there were certain posts on my social media that would drive business. So maybe it got 5 or 10 likes, but you know what? I got 3 inquiries out of that post, and that's starting to matter. And it started making me have this shift inside of myself and my brain and my worth, that it was no longer about social media and what others liked about me. It was that I was being strategic with the post. It was that I was attracting the ideal clients. It was that I was doing it with intention, and that mattered more than productivity. That mattered more than how much I was putting out. And so that really, I'm so grateful for that opportunity of learning that it's no longer about how much content can I put out there, but how can I be more intentional about the content that I do put out there. And that really changed my perspective. So if you want to start moving away from having to be on or on social media all the time, there's lots of businesses that do not use social media. Aside all the experts and gurus, social media does make it easier, but to grow and to work with brands and to grow a business. But there are plenty of businesses still that do not use heavy social media. I know a very successful multi-six-figure business that does it without social media. So I know it can be done for many of us too. And these are 3 tools that I'm going to share. I'm not going to share everything, but I'm going to share 3 of the tools that I utilize the most. So number 1, use your website. So is it easy to do business with you? Do the people know what's in it for them? Do they understand what's like doing business with you, right? So utilize your website traffic, SEO, which is search engine optimization. It's pretty much how you get found on the internet. So when somebody searches, car repair shop in San Francisco, California, does your website pop up because you have the keywords that people are searching. So that's what that means. And I'm using the car shop because sometimes it's so much easier for us to picture, or at least for me it is, when it's something outside of our industry. So that's what I'm going to use for example. So that would be website. Also, in your website, if you have blog posts, that can also help being found as well. You can write articles, for example, if it was a car shop, right? Oh, well, what would be helpful? 5 things you don't know that you need after a car accident to ensure that your car gets repaired soon as possible. Little things like that, little blogs like that are helpful to people, that people are searching for, those type of things. So Cam's giving you ideas. So a blog post could be amazing. If you love to write, or if you like videos, you can put a video blog. So all those beautiful things can really help to bring people to your business without being on social media. Number 2 is running paid ads. I've taken a course on Instagram and Facebook ads. I do not run the ads that way. I run them differently. So you can do paid ads. So maybe look into that too. Does that work for you? Maybe an ad would be better because you can put, I'm going to spend $1 a day for 30 days. That's $30. It's probably less than you spend on your coffee runs or less than you spend on your drive-through food runs a month. $30 is an amazing investment to have people on your business. You can really target it where it can be for local people that want your type of business, for certain type of people. And you should know who your clientele is so that you're attracting the right people to that ad and that the ad speaks to them as well. So there's a whole strategy behind that, but I'm giving you some really quick tidbits of it. And even with what I'm sharing right now, that would be super helpful for you. So running ads is another thing that you can utilize. I did an episode, and you can go back as well. I did one with Stephanie, and she's the one who taught me about Instagram and Facebook ads, but I didn't do her program. I literally took what she taught and I implemented it in my own way so that my clicks, so what I pay per clicks is really low. The most I'll pay for somebody to click on one of my ads is 15 cents, which is amazing. And I always only run, honestly, $1 per day. I'm a cheap person. Go ahead, judge me. I don't care. I'm like $30, awesome investment. Brings lots of clients to my business without having to try or be on all the time on social media. So there's ads. And then lastly, number 3 is also like, I want you to actually look at your business. Not just listen to podcasts, not just go on Instagram and look for tips. Look at your business. How are people finding you? Start asking. So different ways that you can find out where people are finding you is on your intake form. So like, for example, for a contact me form, it's on there. People need to tell me like, hey, where did you find me? You can do it when they come into the salon. If you have you have walk-in business, like ask them, so how did you hear about us? Listen, write it down, put it on your notes. Like many booking systems allow notes. Start tracking that. And also like you can just make it part of your business. So do a system where you're able to find out where your clients are finding you. And I want to say this because I see this a lot and I hear about this a lot. And this is a hard lesson that I had to learn as well. So I'm just sharing it with you. The people and clients I attract on Pinterest are different than the people and clients I attract on Instagram. They're different than the people that I attract to my website. And the only reason I know that is because I track down the numbers. So I know where they're coming from. I know what's working and what's not working. And that's how I was able to figure it out, was by asking, hey, where did you find us? It's a simple question that can give you a lot of insight. And if you pay attention, most likely than not, most of the time they'll give you even more information, not just where they find you, but why they liked you and why they hired you. And that's a huge takeaway. So if you were distracted, go back to that part because that's a huge, huge takeaway. So if you don't want to be on social media, pay attention to that. And I want to say that to you because sometimes we think, I have to be on Instagram. But what if your clients are not finding you on Instagram and you're putting all this energy on Instagram when really your clients are finding you through a referral? Like, for example, maybe it's just this one person or this one business owner that's referring all this business to you. And here you are wasting all this time and energy into this Instagram strategy and posting on there and doing all the things when really your business is not even coming from there. It's coming from this one business, right? What about like doing a thank you for all the referrals? What about giving them a gift? What about also referring business to them, right? Like we have to start thinking outside of the box. And I just really want to share that with you because it's so easy. And trust me, it took me a long time to be okay with not having a lot of followers. And I want to share this with you. About 3 weeks ago, my Instagram, there was this little new feature that was saying, hey, if you want to, if we think this 150 people are not real followers, do you want to delete them? I deleted them. So if you follow me and I'm not following you, that was probably through that thing. So let me know, DM me and let me know so I can follow you back. But anyway, so it did that and my following went down 150 people. So now I'm down to 3,500. I was at 3,600 followers. Why am I sharing that with you? That is not the best thing to do, like if you think about numbers and vanity metrics, but I don't care about the vanity. I care that people follow me that really are in connection with me or with the business or with the message that I share. I am really worried and I'm really, not worried. I'm really focused on really providing value to the right audience. And if 150 of them were bots, I need to delete that. It may look bad on my Instagram. People are like, oh my gosh, she's losing followers. No, I literally did that on purpose, and I don't care what people think. Like, I only care what I think. I only care what my insights say. I only care what my business numbers and what my bank account says. Like, that's important to me. So I just wanted to really share that, because sometimes we think like we know things and we don't, right? So I really want you to start looking at those 3 methods to get you out of social media. Like, really, where's your business coming from? Another thing that I did want to share with you as well is that your business is going to change and evolve. And as my relationship with anxiety has changed, I just went on this like hormone medication and for other health reasons, and it happened to lower my anxiety by half. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's been kind of freaking weird, because it's weird and good all at once. Because I'm used to like being on a different like hyper worried level, and now I'm more calm. I still feel anxious. I still have my days, but it's lower. And also, it has taught me, because my anxiety is less, to seriously like relax more. And it's not that I don't care about posting all the time. It's just that I'm able to relax when I'm like, okay, I already booked like X amount of dollars for the week. You know, like my goal is certain $1,000 per week, right? So I'm like, okay, so if I already hit that goal, then I'm good. Like, why am I like, I don't need to trip about going to post. I don't need to trip about like posting everything and everyone I see. This past weekend, I did 2 different trials. I haven't posted them on my stories or anything, because one of them, we did 2 different eyeshadow looks on her. The other one, we're going to be doing her hair with extensions. So I may do a before and after I do her wedding hair. So you see all those things, like I'm doing with intention, right? And to the world, maybe like, oh my gosh, she's not working, she's not doing anything. But to me, I know I'm doing things. I'm just choosing to show up in my business. I'm choosing to show up on social media with intention, with actions that are going to go ahead and move the ball towards the right direction, right? And I really want to share that with you, because sometimes we can get stuck. I got stuck for many years that I had to show up every single time, and I had to show everything I was doing. And I had to be like, oh, I'm so excited for this upcoming, like collaboration. And sometimes that would sabotage the collaboration, or sometimes posting everything, I would then be like, oh man, I shouldn't have shared that, because I should have done it this way if I would just slow down and took in time to actually process it. So now with my new relationship with anxiety, since I've shared with you openly why it's changed so much, and I was like down to half, these are the 3 things I'm doing now. I don't beat myself up. I don't want to post as much. I'm going to be posting less with more intention, and I'm okay with that. The podcast, we've been going through some things. I've also been navigating this new change of all my kids are in school. I have more free time, and I'm like, what do I do with myself, and making decisions for my own life, for my own mental health and well-being, that I don't want to be at home all the time. So I made a decision. I found the perfect opportunity and position to be able to do something else and be able to have some time away from home, interacting with other people and helping people in a paid position, while also being able to do what I love in my business. And I'm going to share with you on the podcast. I'm not going to share on my Instagram, but I want to share with you on my podcast, because I know a lot of my podcast listeners, you're tuning in here like almost every week. And also, I know a lot of my podcast listeners, like, you need to listen to this too, that our mental well-being matters. And it's not going to always make sense to other people. I am at a point now in my life where I no longer have to work. I really don't. Like, I no longer have to go work. I no longer have to do any hair. I no longer have to do anything. I literally could just be home and I'll be good. Like, there's no need for me to work. That's not who I am as a person. That doesn't fulfill me. That doesn't make me happy. That is not my definition of being super successful, is being at home all the time. So that's Celeste's not going to do that. And I'm sharing that with you in today's episode with my new relationship with anxiety, that instead of being worried what people are going to think or judge me or anything, I know my well-being, and I know in my heart of hearts that I don't have to do anything. I can literally stay home all day if I wanted to and not do anything anymore. I don't want to do that. That's not me. I have learned so many skills, and I have so many assets that I can help other people in other realms, in things that matter to me in my community. I already do so by volunteering my time to like Project Grad, which is like the sober party for senior kids at this local high school. I already do it by, like, I've learned how to ask for money for donations. I've learned how to ask for donations for this amazing event that helps my community, right? All these skills that I've learned throughout the years, they need to be shared. And that's my mission in life, is to like help others, not just by giving, but also by sharing the knowledge, but also by sharing what I know, and also by learning from others, because I don't know everything. I can always learn from other people. And I just feel like right now I'm going through this like change in my life where my kids are all gone at school. So I'm like, okay, I need to do something else with my time for my well-being, but also that's gonna impact my community in a positive way. And that feels good to me. It may make no sense to anybody else in this world, but it makes perfect sense to me. When you have mental health come into play, I want you to know that you can be super successful in your business. I want you to know that it's okay to ask for help, and you're not broken or weak for asking for help or having to have medication for it. Honestly, like, if I would have known that this hormone thing was going to help me this much, I probably would have done it sooner, because even to the point now where I'm at, I can't believe how I've been able to do this for so long, for so many years without any medication. And it just happened for me that I have allergy to most of them, and I didn't want to be a little zombie. So like, I delayed it for so many years. And now that I found this new tool to help me, it doesn't mean that it's all gone. It doesn't mean that I'm 100% better. It just took really like the edge off it. And I can see things more clearly, and I can function in a different way. So if you're at a point in your business where you no longer want to be all the time on social media, I hope some of these tips really help you. Look at what's working. If you're at a point in your business where you need to do something else because you have too much free time, but you don't want to take too much time away from your kids, so there's an opportunity that arises, the right circumstances, like, it can be scary, but take that opportunity for yourself, which I'm doing for myself. There's something that I really have learned through all these 8 years of doing videos and sharing my voice. Also, like this past years on the podcast. And it's that we're constantly evolving. And some people will never agree with you. And some people will really find the right words and find the right podcast at the right time that they need to move forward. And when you live your life authentically, when you live your life more simply and more mindfully, you start learning that it's no longer about other people. I've been learning more as I'm starting to grow older, that the more centered you are with yourself, that the more you take care of you, the more that you put that effort in. Like, I've been rowing now for over 5 months. I row 2 to 3 times a week to the gym. Have I lost a lot of weight? No, but my mental health is really amazing. It helps me a lot. My hand has gotten better. I'm going to a natural doctor, which I will do an episode on. There's so many other these little tools that are helping me to become more calm, to know when I'm having a bad day and I'm super anxious, that I can just go to the gym and release that energy that I don't like at that time, put it in motion, which is like energy in motion, right? To do something productive for my body and for my health and for my heart that's healthy. And you need to put yourself first. As a Latina woman that I grew up in a household where mothers don't put themselves first, and where I was most of the time put down and told how I would amount to nothing in this life, and also how work is all your worth, right? All this like things that I had to break the barriers on, and break the stigma on, and break all this generational trauma, and break all the generational lies that we were taught, that they were taught. I do it with empathy, that's the best that they knew. And I also do it with empathy with myself, that I'm trying to be the best mother the best human, not just solely for my children, but for myself too, to heal our inner child. Because we all have a story to tell. And we all have little quirks, and we all have little things that come along with life and trauma and things. And for me, it has been anxiety. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to push through it for so long. And just to share with you that I have bad days, and I have days where I don't want to post, so I don't. And there are weeks where, yes, I can pre-schedule this whole podcast for the end of the year. That is not who I am as a human. I love to be in the moment. I love to, process things and then share. So this is not about fitting into what the world or what an Instagram post says that success or being a qualified business looks like. It's really about taking our power back. What does a beautiful, mindful, simple life look like for you? Because what it looks like for you is going to look different than for everybody else. What simplicity looks like for me, being at home, being able to pick up my kids, being able to drop them off at school, being able to go take them a lunch if they forget it at home, being able to support them and be there for them in different ways at different times by having control of my time in the type of business I run, and being a better mom by also utilizing my time when I need to for other things that bring me joy and help my community as well. That is fulfillment for me. And it may not make any sense to anybody else, but that's how I thrive with my anxiety. It's by finding ways outside of social media, outside of other people's acknowledgement or praises or booing or clapping, but to really go back into inwards. What's going to bring joy to me? What's going to make me feel like a good human no matter what anybody says? And how can I become a better, more mindful, simple human to appreciate the today? Because from a person that has dealt with, I forget what she told me, my therapist told me, she has a diagnosis, but pretty much I don't deal well with change. For a person who does not deal well with change, I go through change a lot. And I think it's because I love putting myself outside. I love pushing myself into that next level. And that's been a way that I've been able to deal with my anxiety as well, is pushing myself to do a little outside of my comfort zone, little by little, pushing myself more. Not to a breaking point, just a little push, just to be like, oh, I'm kind of nervous about doing it, but I'm going to try today. And if it doesn't work out, well, I'll go back to what I know. That takes courage. So if you are a human who, deals with anxiety in your own way, which shows up differently for all of us, I want you to know that I'm sending you so much love. You are not alone. And please seek out help and resources when you need them. And I really hope this episode really helped you. Thank you so much, love, and I'll see you next time. Bye.